I can't see no more
motion
comments.
will give rise to the idea of extension. So, is everything motion? Now it really gets down to the point of what do you define as motion, or about this, but let me just read it first.
This is amazing because it's actually
So the
classified documents that they talk about this thing, you know.
gospel of the Egyptians reveals this secret gospel.
The truth about the apocalypse, you need to prepare now.
God is being like a code, and then the sun is like a video game character in that code, allowing the code to explore itself. Okay, so you give God like the code in terms of Hegelianism, and then code to experience its own dream.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In the dream world. That's why you call Jesus Christ God in man, and man in, you know, the Son of Man, the Son of God, because it's
So we are all God, basically.
page 25 and see what the rest of it has to say and what it reveals.
I've always dreamt about utopia, always in a utopian world. I get sentimental when I talk about it. I had dreams about it, the future, the crystal cities,
And if you enjoy
the
my
peaceful
work, hey,
energies people have,
you get access to members only videos,
the unity the world could have.
single week. So there's a ton of those.
If we only understood all of this,
help out by hitting the join button below on YouTube.
that we are gods, we are God, every one of us. We wouldn't be doing all this crazy stuff.
I also want to remind you, hey, don't feel pressured to support monetarily. So Ein Sof is known as
the Kabbalah, yeah.
Basically, Ein Sof is the endless
It's very,
the nothing, the infinite nothing.
You get a lot of secrets and reality about if you study it.
That energy into motion to create reality corresponds with the sun.
And I'm not saying I'm humble. There's no fucking humbleness in that statement whatsoever. I'm off the left-hand path. I don't believe in that no ego stuff. You are your ego. Interpreting, you are your consciousness, of course, but your ego is like the projection that you have in this life to understand your surroundings. Your ego basically is part of everything. It's even your ego that allows you to feel like emotion connections and, you know, have opinions and interpret stuff, you know. Without an ego, you're basically just an observer that has no opinion, no thought, no direction, nothing basically. So if you don't have your ego, you're basically just an observer. You're nothing more than observing. So everyone has an ego. The thing is not to be controlled by your ego, of course, but you need to be self-aware of that in that sense, to know that your ego serves a good purpose if you use it as a tool, but not let it dominate you, control you, basically. But you need your ego. It's good to have a strong ego. If you have a weak ego, people will just piss on you, step on you, and use you as whatever, do whatever they want with you, basically. So it's good for balance with everything, like, same with the ego, balance.
Made people rise from the dead, died on a cross, and came back to life in 3 days, and they believe the Holy Spirit is the helper that enters your body when you accept Jesus into your heart. That has nothing to do with reality. So that's completely divorced from reality. So this interpretation of that religion, no. Literalist Christianity has nothing to do with reality. It's the furthest away from reality you can possibly get. It's absolutely great.
Yeah, I agree. Hollow Earth is actually mentioned by the leaked documents from the CIA, you know. They actually mention Hollow Earth. But people are like, if the media doesn't write about it, it's not true. Nothing is happening if the media doesn't write about it. I can only make an opinion if the media writes about it. I can only think if the media tells me how to think. They actually mention Hollow Earth on the fucking CIA documents. They mention an advanced superior race of giants living on Earth in another dimension, in another version of Earth. But people are like, oh, it's tinfoil hats. They don't know any tinfoil hats. I guess the most secret intelligence agencies in the world with incredible knowledge of our world that nobody has access to are also tinfoil hats.
Because of the system's capacity for motion leaving one area and arriving at another area.
Hey Ava. Yes, it's a very interesting channel. I recommend it. It's called Morgue Official. Is some androgynous looking, occult guy who talks about the lies of religion and exposes a lot of things about the world and actually incredible revelations, like the leaked documents from, leaked documents from CIA, from what they know about reality. He talks about that stuff and about, everything from Christ and Lucifer and, connecting the same being as the one, being the same and stuff. I already knew that Lucifer and Christ was the same. I've been studying very much the meaning of Christ and Lucifer from almost a decade back. Actually, I've seen every parallel. So he has found evidence of it in the Bible, actually, all Bibles. Nobody has anything to say anymore. At least you talked a lot to me. Interesting stuff, Eva. Appreciate it. Just I get bored fast. I get bored really fast. With edited away stuff, mentioning this was Christ that gave the apple, to Adam and Eve in Eden, and it's Christ himself that wants to overtake God, throw down the corrupt ruler, the demiurge, in case you know the term. It's actually, I knew it all along, I had a hunch, both are the morning star, the lights of the world. Both call themselves the light of the world, and they want to make humans ascend into godhood and become gods themselves. It's basically the one and the same. So this guy talks about that stuff. The truth about God revealed in his missing CIA page. I'm going to watch that. It's funny because the CIA documents actually confirmed God, but it's not what we think it is. It's more like I've always suspected that the universe is self-aware, or not self-aware in that sense that it's really self-aware, but it's kind of becoming self-aware by us, and we are actually the dreams conjured by the creator, the universe, which is an absolute energy force that's been around for before time, before the universe probably, some kind of, I don't know what it is really, but they mention it as an absolute, and the absolute is dreaming about itself in miniature fractions, and every fraction is actually itself. So that confirms that the more awake you are as a person, the more in tune you are with the absolute, and the more divine you are becoming.
Like and subscribe, and if you enjoy my work, support over on Patreon. It's the best we're talking about today.
I actually downloaded the declassified documents. I have it on my computer.
Page 25.
I have it's like 9,000 plus documents. They confirm everything from aliens to UFOs to ghost hunter teams, agent that hunts paranormal stuff, psychic powers, other dimensions, and now apparently even God and stuff. So it's like the most amazing stuff, but nobody takes the time to read it or watch it or nothing because, well, the mainstream media doesn't mention it, so people don't care. But I was
Just
smart enough to download it
we can
from their own
access
site. It's
by
free to
projecting
download, actually.
different levels of this hologram through our
I read a
consciousness.
lot of
That's what this
stuff. It's like
entire document is
candy,
about. And so
Christmas
this
time for
particular
me.
section, belief system considerations, is
They
basically saying,
confirm
well,
everything I
what
knew,
does this have to
like
do with
the
concepts
tinfoil
like
hat.
God and religion? Is there some sort of
It's like
relation?
tinfoil
Is there
hat
some sort of correlation between this idea of a
Christmas,
reality
basically.
being an internally projected hologram that is exploring
It's
itself
from
through
themselves, so it's not a hoax.
transformation
It's
into
actually
something
from
ultra
themselves, the
conscious? Is there some
documents.
sort of
Anybody
relation
can
with
download it.
God? Is there some sort of relation? Infinitely rapid succession of flashes of events.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, the reason why they're talking about this is because they're trying to relate the ontology of existence, or what existence actually is just movement. Yes and no. So what is existence? We understand existence to be reason itself, or rather a logical code, or you can understand it in terms of mathematics. You can say that this is a mathematical reality. But diving even deeper into it, this is a rational reality, or a system of reason, and we can understand this mathematically. Okay? So what does it mean by saying, so basically what reality is all rational possibilities that are compatible with each other. I don't want to talk too much about this because I could talk for an hour about it, and I have before. I have a video on it called The Answer to the Greatest Philosophical Question of All Time. Check that out if you want to know more about what I'm about to say. But anyway, we understand reality to be a system of reason exploring itself, or you can understand it as a system of mathematical energy exploring its various transformations. So reality is both one and many. Reality is one because it's one mind and one system, and it has the capacity for multiplicity, it has the capacity for unity, but it's one system that explores itself in its multiplicity. So it's both one and many. One and many. One system exploring itself in multiplicity. One and
Yes,
many. So it
yes.
seems like a contradiction to say reality is both one and many, but it isn't actually when you think about it. Kind of like
Makes sense.
zero is equal to.
I want my daughter to grow up in a world where she's brainwashed by politics and ideologies to hate freaks like me, because she's still so she hasn't been shaped yet by society, and she doesn't think there's anything wrong with a man looking like I do, with makeup, wigs, and dresses and stuff. She thinks it's just that, it's always that. But society might teach her that I'm abomination, and that I'm a freak, and that she should think I'm something bad and wrong. So that's not the world I want my daughter to grow up in. Thing is, I could easily just, go back into being a masculine, bear-like dude, if everything goes wrong and we live the ages of the Crusades again. Just grow out my big Odin, all-father Zeus beard again, and I just go over the top with the masculinity persona and just have to kill my entire androgyny and uh, feminine energy and just hide it for my own benefit, for my own sake. But that will be killing who I am, and it will be so sad because I wouldn't be able to be who I really am. I would live in constant fear, being found out. I don't want to live in a world like that. I don't want my daughter to grow up in a world like that. Yeah, it really sucks that we live in a world where you can be considered an abomination or freak just for choosing to look and act different way from others who would consider control. Like normal. Yeah, it's so sad. It's really, I don't know how to describe it. It's just heartbreaking, to be honest. I don't even get angry, or I don't get angry when I see the hatred. I just feel sadness. There's so much hatred everywhere in the world, and among the people who want to change, change into something better. They change it to something worse, and they go back to how it was before. It's just it's crazy, you know. There needs to be like a new alternative, an intermediate, something that is makes people see a new perspective. But some people don't understand it. They believe in another, give away their power. They don't understand that they are God incarnate, experiencing itself on earth, in this universe, and being basically projected by God into this reality. The creating force, he's talking about the absolute, that frequency, that light that existed, that was the Big Bang and earlier. It's experiencing itself through us, it's experiencing itself in every possible way it can. So each and every one of us is basically that light, that God. But people are stupid and dumb as fuck. They serve other, they are like mindless robots. They don't understand their divinity. So like go to work, sleep, fornicate, eat, just repeat. They don't have a purpose like NPCs in video games. Just repeat, repeat. Never question anything. That's why I hate people. And the more you get awoke, awaken, in that energy, that God energy, the more God-like you become, like their source. So basically, everyone is the source, the creator. But some are stronger creators. Some are more like God, even like evolved versions, because they have actually practiced and getting ascended in that sense. So yeah, everyone is like a fragment of the creator, according to these documents, but not everyone is aware of it. So they're like weak versions, inferior versions. Of course, there are stronger versions, like aliens and stuff, interdimensionals. They are way more powerful creators, in tune with the creating absolute, like the creative force, the absolute. So just because we understand this shit doesn't mean we are powerful enough to open up portals to other realities with our minds and just become invulnerable to bullets and stop a meteor. We just like anime. That's possible if you're like an advanced race that's been practicing and evolving for thousands of years in these knowledges that are just now surfacing. It's possible. You can get that powerful. You can be that powerful that you can actually stop a meteor, with your just with your thought, from hitting a planet. But we're far from that level of being God-like. We're just starting to understand we can be the God ourselves. So other races probably understood it myriads of years ago. So that's why humans are so stupid, easy to control at the moment, fall for everything, still war with each other, trying to, I'm so lost all faith in humans, to be honest. You are bright, Eva. I knew it. You have everything, like I said many times on the live streams when we've been talking. This is, we've been brought together here by synchronicity, by the creator trying to experience itself, by by reflecting itself on other reflections to create this. That's so interesting. It's been the same for me with that idea that the universe is experiencing itself. It's actually the closest thing to truth possible. Lately, I've been seeing, the digits, sacred geometry, 33 and everything. It's basically the absolute truth. You're in tune with the universe, the highest truth. So I'm on the path of divine truth, absolute truth, the absolute truth. Everything I do now points me towards the absolute truth. Collective thought forms. I don't know if you've heard about the term egregores, Eva. I've been studying and researching this term for years, actually. Just came across a video yesterday from Sync Mind talking about egregores, and that basically everything is an egregore, even ideologies and religion, and everything is an egregore, and egregores are collective thought forms. And the moment you align yourself to some kind of set belief system, whether it's politics, religion, or whatever, that collective thought form is self-aware and it has its own consciousness because it's created from our collective consciousness. So it's become like a cloud of thoughts. And the moment you align yourself with an ideology, that cloud of self-aware thoughts will merge with your mind and start changing your thoughts and behavior. And it starts creating you into something that you're not from the beginning. So that's why I hate politics. I've never voted for a party, like a few times when I was younger, because my family told me you need to vote for this party. Our family does that. We are socialists, we are lefties, whatever, you know. So yes, I just did it as a young person, but then at a later age I understood that everything's controlled to the maximum. And everything is a thought form, and when the moment you start believing in an ideology, that ideology will devour your personality and you will become that thought form. You will become like that ideology will make you in its image. You will be completely indoctrinated. So that's why I resent and reject all politics. I'm not a lefty, I'm not a right wing, I'm not a nationalist, socialist, nothing. I completely reject these thought forms because they set people into fanatical perspectives. They are unable to think for themselves because these egregores are controlling their minds, their consciousness.
I am you and you are me. From
Yeah, I am you, you are me. I've always known that.
Remember,
When people
reality
look
is
at
only
me,
one and many.
that's
So
why I
we
don't like eye
are
contact.
truly individuals, but we form one system that is
You get a
experienced in
feeling
self
that
world. We're all
they see who you
individual
are and you are the
self-forms.
same as
We are
them.
all individual
It's
selves,
because we are all
but
the
also as
same.
individual selves, we
We
belong
are
to one
all
system
fucking
that is
one
experiencing
entity,
itself through its capacity for multiplicity.
experiencing
So,
itself in every possible outcome,
that's the
every
line.
possible
But
interpretation,
so
doing
I
everything
know some
possible
videos
to
about all
itself
this
that
kind of
it
stuff.
could
And
happen or will
I
happen
try
or
and
will
keep me
not
in, and you imply
or
the
has
device
happened,
thinks
all
it
of that.
should be an hour each. So check out my other videos if you want to hear more about all this kind of stuff.
Even my ex-wife saw Yuha Bach once on the manga, when I was living with her, I actually had a mustache once, like that went down like this. My hair was long and black, really long, like the wig now. And she said, like, just joking when she went by the computer screen when I was reading the manga online. And she said, yeah, honey, is that you? Why are you in a Japanese cartoon? She said, laughing. I went like, what the fuck?
So anyway, the absolute projects a hologram of
So
itself
it's
and then
basically true.
perceives itself. You can say God
When we treat
projects
people
a
like
hologram
shit,
of itself and then
we
perceives
don't
itself.
know.
Or
We are
we
hurting ourselves.
project a hologram of itself, of ourselves, and then perceive ourselves.
He even said ourselves now. The synchronicity. And he said ourselves when I said it. That's the synchronicity. He said ourselves and said ourselves at the same time.
Because they're playing with a projection of
Completely
themselves. So it's not
unconnected.
even a real projection, it's just a mental projection of the
But
idea
yes,
that
still
the concept
connected.
they have created in their head that needs to be
I
internalized.
love
It's a
this stuff.
psychological process. Religion as they are taken
I
literally
think we are
and by the
actually
mainstream
just.
do not.
Yes, we
That's
have
why you have
biological
religions that are
genders, it's obvious. We
more
have, like
so we
vaginas,
just need to be
penises,
very,
and
very careful
women
about
give
how
birth
we
and men
talk
have
about things
semen,
and how
all
we
of that.
express things
But
because
the other
we
stuff is
don't
like
want
some
to make it seem
social
like
construct,
religion is
basically.
benign. It's
Personas.
not. But see, this is why we
Masculinity is
need
a
a
persona,
new
and
interpretation
femininity
of
is persona.
religions. We need religions that are
And
reinterpreted in a
we've been
healthy way.
separated.
So that's how
So
we solve the problem of
some of us
religion.
just
You
feel that
can't just
there's some separation,
eliminate
and we need to
religion.
go back to
Like that's
equilibrium
not possible.
to balance.
What you have to do. Let's read page 25 and see how much time we have to get through it. So
We're worshipping ourselves,
and the
and we're
internal
worship,
thought
and
or
we're
concept of
subjugating
self,
ourselves
which
to our.
results from the
This
self-consciousness,
is just.
serves the absolute as the model around the evolution of time-space revolves to ultimately attain a reflection of and union with him.
Planet.
said planet. You said fucking planet.
When I said it, did you hear it on the commercial? Did you hear the synchronicity? Did you hear it? The background said planet. I said planet at the same time. That's synchronicity. Instant synchronicity.
We always existed as a multiplicity, but we were in a state of unity, and that state of unity, you could say, gets fractured into a multiplicity as we explore ourselves through our diversity. That's the Big Bang. Because you introduce diversity on the mental level, that gets reflected in the physical level as above, so below. You have that reflection go on.
As above, as below, yes. We were genderless too. We didn't have genders. It came from the Big Bang, the separation. So we're going back to it by becoming androgynous to the source.
Returning to unity in him. Well, it's not him, like you could say a Rubik's Cube that solves itself.
That's why we have to become androgynous too.
Eliminating, as time goes by,
male and female didn't exist in the beginning. It got separated.
Unified.
That's why all ascended beings are androgynous. All beings depicted in religion as angels and fairies, aliens, everything is androgynous. Because it's going back to before the separation.
Days and nights of drama, inhalations, exhalations, metaphysical description of the Holy Spirit. Now, once again, this is only, it doesn't fit the Christian metaphysical concept of the Holy Spirit. It only will fit that if you take a mystical or philosophical or, if you interpret it in a very specific way. You go, again, to the church on the corner of the street, they're going to think all of this stuff is blasphemy. So I really want to get that. I mean,
yeah, everyone says blasphemy,
I have religious syndrome.
Diabolic,
I don't like this idea of, all religion reflect.
I've always felt disconnected from the idea of gender.
A lot of religions.
I can escape all of that, probably because I have the ability to alter my appearance so much, and grow huge beards, and I'm big and bulky, so I don't seem queer and androgynous if I really overact the masculine side, so. But like I said earlier, I would have to be, suppressing who I am and being a fake person, suffering even more because I can't express who I am. So I don't want to live in a world with crusades again, like the Inquisition of the Spanish people, hunted the witch hunts, went for the burnt the witches. Religion is a cancer on the planet. It really is a cancer on the planet. I don't care if I offend people who is religious now. It's one thing to be spiritual, to believe in a conscious, the world is consciousness, and that there is a higher purpose to life and existing. That's one thing, but I'm talking about the organized religions that make people into fanatics, that kill and sacrifice people for their collective thought forms, their ideologies and gods. That need to go. It needs to go once and for all. A lot of people that are watching this, I knew he was on the New World Order agenda to delete all religions and bring in the Antichrist, blah blah blah. No, I'm not against Christ. I'm not against, like I said, the concept of a higher consciousness. I'm against the insanity that goes with religion. They want us so confused and split and separated that the things that could actually help us and benefit us to become free and become enlightened and move on in our evolution, the solutions are warped and made into something wicked and strange and that frightens people, that makes them think it's illogical and irrational, so they hate it. And then they want to go back to how it were before. I'm tired of keeping quiet, There's a saying that if you don't speak out your mind, and you let evil pass on by, you're allowing the evil. The genders
in a
need
way
to
that is
become
rational
more
and
fluid and
healthy
balanced.
and
Not
show
disappear completely,
the
you know,
different
but
religions
become
as a whole
balanced.
reflecting the same truth.
Uh,
So that means
Mystical
changing it so that
teachings
whether you're
say
talking
the
about
same things, you
Brahma
know,
or
that men and
God
women have to
or
be
Allah
equal,
or the great
equally
invisible
balanced
spirit,
in the masculine side and the feminine
these
side
are just
to become
different
divine and balanced
symbols
and evolve.
or
So,
metaphors for the same underlying
according
truth.
to these teachings
So we
and
need a reinterpretation
the stuff about
of
going back to the
religions.
absolute, we need to become androgynous.
But it's
Otherwise,
important to
we won't be
remember,
able
yes, the
to break the
mainstream
boundaries of
religions
reality.
are
Religion has a lot of, if you look at it like metaphors and mystical approaches, like he says, you can get a lot of interesting stuff from it. But taking it literally is insanity, you know. That's why we have this insanity, like insane.
Are stripping people's rights away. And so we just want to be lucid and clear-headed and understand original its use as the figure of the universe. And so they're talking about the torus. We did a video on shape of the universe.
A torus is basically a donut.
Known as a torus.
Donut, I believe.
Torus.
Like a donut.
Whether it's the stylized labyrinth, once popular in the Hellenic world, the spiralized version are the absolute.
Yes,
are
that's
God,
what we need.
Experiencing it ourselves through our own
yes
or projection through all different.
My voice is deeper than usual because I have a mild cold in case you're wondering.
Their stories, myths, and that is what God is. We are God. We are the absolute.
Yes.
Exploring ourselves and coming to self-consciousness through us. How do you become
Fuck
God?
yes.
You realize that you are God. When you realize that you are God, you become God because
yes.
being God is just a state of mind. We are all God in potential already.
When you realize you are God, you will become God.
It's us, an individual coming to the realization, oh, this is all our projection, my projection, that we have projected and we're exploring together.
Not really feminine clothes, but just the wig and stuff. So I feel free, you know, for a moment. I don't do it to suck off some guy in a car in a dark alley or get fucked in the ass by some random dude, you know, because of fetish. It's just to feel free, like I said earlier in the stream. I just do it to feel free in a world where you're forced to be somebody you don't want to because people are religious fanatics, you know.
We need that phase.
We don't have to survive anymore. We can thrive, and we will thrive when
I've been longing for it so much.
And we start creating a world.
That's what I came here for.
Instead of hating each other for our differences.
To hurry on the process.
Our diversity.
I'm
See the difference between individualistic survival mindset.
always been trying to make people realize stuff like this so we can have a peaceful world and become enlightened that we are the creating force. We are gods. We are God. So we need to stop acting like this insanity, you know.
If she gains knowledge, she'll remember that she's divine. Now, have you noticed a common theme here? It's the condemnation of knowledge, always equating knowledge with the absolute worst kind of eternal torture.
I love this channel. This channel. The dude is like so lit, and so awoke, you know, awakened. Yeah, it's so fun.
Would a loving God accept human sacrifice? The fact is that human sacrifice is found throughout the Bible, and it reveals a truth that the church has tried to erase from history by any means necessary.
Yeah, the God in the Bible, shit, that's one evil bastard.
Stick with me until the virgin daughter greeted him. In fact, she came out dancing to meet him because she was so excited to see him. Meaning God, but remember, that is us. And what does it mean to have a union? Because everything was in perfect unity. Now, there wasn't non-existence. Everything was just so perfect, there wasn't any else. But the only experience that you have is pure white light. That's it. So I am here, you read.
Worst flap angle ever.
That is long, that is tall, that is small, that is hot, that is cold. All that entails difference. So
I've been quiet for years, you know. I see how the world develops and the direction we're heading, but I keep quiet because of self-preservation, you know. I know I look so undead, it's messed up.
People actually get terrified when they see me in the dark, you know. Grown men, they go, you know, like they've seen a monster or a demon or a vampire or something. Something humans need to learn is that humanity, not everything that looks scary or dark is actually evil. And not everything that looks kind and sweet and innocent is actually kind and has benevolence in them, you know.
Yeah, the darkness is so soothing, peaceful. Uh, in the darkness, you can find the most illuminating things, you know, and you get, you can find light in the darkness too, you know. So that's right. I agree. Light through darkness. I was thinking I was going to make a simple live stream now. Didn't talk about deep stuff and weird shit, you know, but I go instantly, you know, like tinfoil hat mode, mystical craziness the same second I start talking, you know.
More than hatred, I feel sorrow actually for humanity. The states of lack of self-awareness, lack of consciousness it has. It's really sad, you know. Some of us are forced to take up the fight because the others are so dormant. They never see their shackles. They never see their enslavement.
And my purpose has always been change. And you cannot change anything and anyone if you do not change yourself, because you are the reflection. You are the creator here. So in order to become change, in order to be change, you have to become change. If you're not change, nothing will happen. So I decided to become change. I become the change reality needs, this world needs. I decided to become that new change, that new path. And that's what I'm doing with what I do, with everything I do. And I've been doing for decades. This channel is not my first channel. I had many channels before, and I had one that was revolving around these topics about, you know, ascending the race of humanity and higher consciousness and interdimensional creatures and you know, all of these wacky stuff, you know, that people find as wacky, but it's actually more in tune with the truth of this reality. I was more into that, and I had groups and followers, like I mentioned, and I left that for many years. But now I'm starting to pick up where I left because the universe has decided that my purpose is not done yet. I have to continue to pull this through. I have to continue to align people into the right path, and it's my purpose for existing here. It's why I've had this struggle, you know, with all my life to fitting in and with money, jobs, and society. I've been excluded and now left alone. You know, I live in poverty compared to most people. I live very poor. You know, I have no material wealth. I have nothing that the average person has. You know, and I still appreciate the little I have in life. This it's made me humble to that degree that I appreciate the little things I have. I don't even desire materialism. I don't desire anything. I don't desire houses, cars. I don't desire wealth. I don't desire anything more than the things from the heart and the soul and the spirit, you know, the consciousness. I desire the world to change to something else. And I desire this reality to become beautiful. That's my entire purpose. I want this reality to become beautiful. The way I see it inside me, the way I want it to become. The beauty I have inside me, I want it to reflect outwards and create change. So this is what I'm doing with the things I do.